Welcome back to Edgework here on the Hammer Betting Network, a daily live NHL show Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Today is Tuesday, April 25th. Todd, how you feeling this morning?
Well, I woke up very good mood. I last night was very good for me. I bet the Devils. I bet the Leafs. I have Devils series price. I have Leafs series price. All was right in the world. Then I found out Dinger Tuesday is canceled this week. I already did my research. I had 13 of my 15 home run guys ready to rumble, and now I'm just down bad. Now I just have all these homer bets. Do I have to do them straight? Sickening.
Dinger Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen.
So that was what you were upset about this morning.
Yes.
I thought like something was wrong because of how good last night was for you.
Todd sends in a message. Oh, I'm down bad. I got to talk about it on the show, and it's Dinger Tuesday.
I was specifically looking forward to Dinger Tuesday. I was up in the night, like 4 a.m. on my phone, researching dingers.
Look at these guys, though. Look at how happy these guys are. This is the happiest show maybe in the history of the internet right now. Like, look at us. You know, who would have thought this? Who knew?
Who'd have thought?
And I think I'm also happy because I believe we're leading the who gets the least amount of sleep pool.
Oh, we are dominating.
We are.
Another nice performance.
Another good one.
Yeah, I thought our average was going to get knocked down a little bit, and then Crack and Abs go to overtime last night, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be knocked down, but not as bad as it could have been.
Should have went to double OT.
Yes, we have the two latest days on this show, by the way.
Yeah.
Both days the latest. We have the 2:05 and then the 1:20. The next closest is the Friday show, who had the 1 a.m. But we do have to put a little asterisk on the one because the Thursday show last week started at 9 a.m. So they were bumped up an hour and a half. But
fraudulent.
That'll be taken into
the books are getting cooked. People, the books are getting cooked. I like it.
All right, Todd, why don't you take us through a little bit here, just what went on with the Devils for them to be able to turn this thing around like the way that they have. You saw the Rangers roll into New Jersey, take 2 from them there, started to feel a little bit dire. Seeing videos out there of certain Devils fans, maybe by the name of Tank, screaming that the Devils are never going to win another game again. And yet here they are. They roll into MSG and take 2 from the Rangers there in home ice in New York. What happened? How did this team find a way to turn it around like this?
Well, there was 2 big things that were problematic in the first 2 games. One is Vitek Vanacek couldn't make a save. The Rangers only had 14 high-danger chances to 2 games, 7 a game, which is not good at all. And they scored on 7 of them, which is absolutely ludicrous. Like any good goalie gets like an 820 save percentage against high-danger shots, and Vanacek saved literally half of them, so that was very bad. And then also the power play. The Devils were dressing Miles Wood, Brendan Smith, a bunch of their guys who take penalties all the time, and they couldn't get a save on the penalty kill or defend. So they were kind of feeding into the Rangers' best assets. And then in New York, they scratched their penalty-prone players. They made a goaltending change, and they're basically just doing the same thing. Like, even though they lost 5-1 game 1 and 2, their 5-on-5 numbers were still like pretty good, honestly. Yeah. And then they just kept doing that, made the changes they needed to. And now they're tied 2-2, and they have the highest expected goals for percentage out of any playoff team at 5-5.
Matt, had you declared them dead like everyone else did at that point after it was 2-0?
So, a lot of times when you come on here and listen, maybe we talk enough about, the big underdog plays on Tuesday nights that often hit. Maybe we don't. It's tough to say, Zach. Right?
I like how you threw that in there. That often hit.
No, I say that to say that I absolutely botched this series in a lot of ways. So number one, I literally wrote about how I had dropped the home ice advantage for both of these teams more than I had in any other series because both of them were better road teams this season than they are at home, right? And by the way, there's also basically no travel in this series. So I do all that. And then do I bet the road team in every single game? No. Do I bet the road team in any game? No, I didn't. I bet the Devils in the first 2 games because beyond the fact that obviously I had, there was a limited road home ice advantage or home road split. I bet the Devils because Devils are the better team, in my opinion, right? And if they could just get, reasonable goaltending, they should win this series relatively comfortably. Well, they don't get reasonable goaltending, as Todd alluded to or flat out said, and I lose those first 2 bets. But they also, again, like while the metrics sort of looked okay, it's also hard to kind of determine, like, are they just not, is that imperceptible thing just not there for them come the playoff time, right? The experience factor, right? And you look and you got, obviously the Rangers have all this playoff experience, obviously the better goaltending. And it sort of looked like the idea of like, there wasn't really that much of a path to kind of come back. Now, it turns out, obviously, the path is in the form of Akira Schmid, which I'll sort of say to you on, it was like mid-February, I took my nephew to a Marlies game, and the Marlies were playing the Utica Comets that day. And we were right behind the net, right behind the Utica Comets net, and Akira Schmid was he was in the warm-up. Didn't even play in that game. Did not even start for the Utica Comets that day, and is now all of a sudden saving the day for the Devils. So I'm not going to beat myself too much for not backing the Devils. I didn't bet the games 3 or 4 at all, so it's not like I'm 0 for 4 on this series, but easily could have theoretically been 4-0 on this series. And yeah, so I did. I'm sorry, Todd. I apologize to you. I did quasi give up on the Devils. Obviously, I have serious prices, as Todd mentioned. I have -1.5 as well that somehow has life. I'm hoping that still somehow comes through so I can salvage, maybe a small profit on a series that I probably should have absolutely crushed from start to finish. But you know what? You live and you learn.
All right, Matt, I got to ask you about the Kraken Avalanche. 2-2 now that series is. Seattle wins in overtime last night. What is going on in Seattle for them to be able to find a way back into the claw into this one and kind of just hang around with the Avalanche? Is this a matter of hanging around? Is this them actually just going toe-to-toe with the Avalanche? Do they still have obviously at 2-2, you're going to say, yeah, they do have a chance. So that's what the series is. But just in terms of the way that this team is constructed versus what we've seen out of the Avalanche in the past couple of seasons, like, is this something where they've got a shot to beat the Avs here?
I think they do. The problem is, or the issue is that the whole issue coming into this series was, okay, well, the Avalanche, from a metric standpoint, aren't all that much better than the Kraken. But they have, speaking of experience, right? They have the experience. They have the concept of the flip switch. They also have a handful of guys that when they do stuff, it's like really, really fun and really, really impressive, right? Like Nathan McKinnon's speed, Cale Makar's agility, Mikko Rantanen's release. There is nobody on the Kraken that is going to get you excited about really anything. But then they play a game last night, and it's like 3.6 to 1.4 in the expected goals at even strength. And you're like, yeah, at any given game or any given period, this Kraken team can like really put the Avs on their heels. And so, nice, love it. So, can they? Yeah,
they're all Oilers.
But the problem is, like, the Avalanche could easily just have that game, and the fact that the Avs are kind of, flipping the switch on and on in mid-series is the type of thing that a Stanley Cup champion or a team that thinks they are that much better than their opponent will do, and that's the type of thing you would do in the regular season when you're not all that worried about, Tuesday night in February playing a game against a team that, again, you think that you're better than. So, like at 2-2, there's some very interesting odds out there as far as like anything over plus 200. It's really kind of interesting because I think the Kraken can win a road game here, but it's honestly not that much has changed since the start of the series where we were like, I don't know what to make of the series. I think it's probably going to be more competitive than people think. I don't really want to bet on the Kraken at the odds provided, and the Avalanche will probably find a way to kind of win a long series, but there's no kind of bet that suggests that we can take advantage of that, and that's kind of where we're at still right now.
I think if Makar gets suspended, that definitely opens the door as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
and also a little Toddy Props early edition here is if Makar does get suspended, Devon Toews point is usually a plus money or close to it. I would definitely do that, and power play point if Makar gets suspended.
All right, there you go. Look ahead for that for tomorrow. But do you guys think he's going to get suspended, and how many games? Someone says, how many games? How many games do you think Makar gets?
Well, if he gets suspended, maybe one. But
I was going to say the how many concept sort of suggests that it's kind of a lock that he gets suspended. I mean, I don't know. Like, I hate the whole like how many games should this guy get or that guy get, because we start getting into like different things about like how injured is the other player. And
well, George Perros just sits in his room and spins a wheel anyway, so it's not like he has any idea what's going on. Right. That guy's just disgracing the good name of Harvard, being up in the Department of Player Safety there. So, I mean, no, well, but
Harvard
I don't know.
Strays. Didn't see Harvard coming up today, but here we are.
Well, it's just Perros, man. I don't. There's no reason for that guy to be in there. He has no idea what he's doing. But I think he gets one if he gets any at all. I think it's one. And that's the extent of it. All right, that is the 2 games there, and most important, wrapping up those. And then before we head into tonight's games, last one I want to ask you guys about here.
Yes.
Vegas, Winnipeg.
Oh. Boo. I thought you were going to ask about the Leafs game.
No, I did enough yelling and screaming about that. I didn't want to just force feed it down your throats about the Leafs. But if you want to talk about the Leafs, we can
I'd love to talk about
it.
Yeah.
Zach's had plenty of time to tell us what he thinks about the Leafs game. What does he care about our opinion, Todd?
No.
Why,
where are you got, Todd? What's going on? Where are you at with the Leafs right now in this unfathomable comeback that they mounted last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning, following up against a game that they had no business winning than the game before that?
Well, as soon as they scored to make it 4-2, I was like, they are going to win 100%. You can just kind of feel it. This Tampa team is not what it used to be, and defensively, they have some issues. Even though they were controlling much of the game, they kind of just started reeling a bit, and you could kind of feel it. I think this Tampa team is dead, to be honest. That was their last hurrah, in my opinion, and I think the Leafs are just going to take care of business at home tomorrow.
Guys, are we in the trust tree? I feel like after I admitted the whole Devils Rangers fiasco, I feel like we're in the trust tree. Are we in the trust
tree? Oh, no. Yeah, Lightning -1.5.
No, I got to tell you, last night, I missed it. I missed the comeback.
Wow.
I was watching every second of that game. If you guys haven't been reading up on my stuff over at The Score, I'm deeply into the Leafs. Series price -1.5, under 5.5 games, all of that sort of thing. And it's 4-1, and I forget who took a penalty sort of, with maybe 12, 13 minutes left. And there was a penalty on the Leafs, and they went to commercial. And of course, I have a second screen up that had Rangers Devils on it. I flipped that over because Jets and Golden Knights were starting. And I'm flipping, just for the commercial break, over to Heat and Bucks in the National Basketball
I don't want to talk about
Association.
that. I don't want to talk about
and
that.
I'm interested in that game because one of the all-time out-of-whack point spreads occurred in that game, where the Bucks were somehow 8-point favorites on the road, despite being 9-point favorites in Game 1 back in Milwaukee. And so I had a decent-sized position on the Heat, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'll check this out. The last few minutes of that game were electric, and of course I'm not dying to flip back to probably watch the Lightning score a 5th goal on the power play. And the last, Jimmy Butler's doing Jimmy Butler things and all of that sort of thing. And I'm flipping the top screen from the Jets to from the Jets Golden Knights to the Kraken Avalanche. And then finally, after the Heat game, I flip back over to the Leafs, and it's 4-4 all of a sudden. And I'm just like, what happened? This is fantastic. How long was I gone? Did I black out at some point? Like, how long was that back? I felt like it was only like 6 minutes where all that kind of happened. And I know it was sort of 5 minutes of hockey. Missed the whole thing. And obviously, caught up on the goals and whatnot because I watched, the intermission and of course the overtime. And again, delighted that the Leafs won from a, betting standpoint, maybe not necessarily from an emotional standpoint, but in this case, there's enough money riding on it that I am part of the Leafs nation for a couple of days here. Of course, that is until they lose Game 5, and I will have absolutely nothing good to say about the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, past, present, or future, if they lose Game 5. But yeah, flat out missed it. Just totally like blackout situation on my part. Jimmy Butler got me. You win, Jimmy Butler.
He got me too. I had Bucks -5. I got so much CLV.
Oh man.
Yeah. Down bad.
Oh boy.
Down
Yeah.
bad.
I don't know what happened, but if people were watching on the Hammer HQ live stream with Moretto, myself, and Alex B. Smith, you would have been there for all of us. At 4-2, we all bet plus 1650 Leafs comeback money line there, and then me and Alex B had also bet plus 200 Leafs to score the next goal, and then they scored that next goal, made it 4-3. And then basically the rest of the game was just watching me and Alex celebrate and Moretto hate his life despite having an opportunity to cash a big ticket. So it was pretty interesting rest of the game, but I have no explanation for what happened. This team played like garbage
season.
in Game 2. Like
That's what happened.
Yeah, but it's just like this team is they don't do that. That doesn't happen in the playoffs. They do that in the regular season, sure, every now and then, but like game 3, they played like complete and utter garbage, and they had no business winning that game, but Tampa just couldn't close them out. O'Reilly ties it up late, and then they find a way to win in overtime. It's like, well, they should not have won that game. Last night, you came out flat in the first period. You're down a couple in the first, go into the second. They started playing better in the second, and the gap widened. They played better in the second period,
Right.
and Tampa opened the gap up and made it the 4-1 lead. And it was like, well, what are you supposed to do if you play better and now you are losing worse than you were when you were playing like garbage? And then all of a sudden, the third period, they just was like...
That second period felt like the soccer team, and I don't know enough about international soccer or soccer period to know which team this is, but the team that sort of allows you to kind of attack and then just counterattacks you. Maybe it's a France thing, you know what I mean? Where maybe, Nikita Mbappe is just getting, hit with distance passes from any of the defensemen there. So it's just hard when I flip the channel over, it's really hard to make the case that the Leafs are the better team at that point.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a bunch of goals go in and they win, they get the power play in overtime and they find a way to win. I mean, power play goal, isn't exactly sort of, finding a way out of nowhere, but like, what I mean? Obviously the play by Nylander to draw the penalty is obviously a nice start to that period. And yeah, I mean, part of the reason that we like the Leafs beforehand, the series is like, this is a Lightning team that just has a lot of miles on it and doesn't have a ton of depth relative to the previous seasons that they've had. And so that's kind of the disappointing element when Toronto didn't play well at all in game 3. And like you said, came out flat in game 1. So maybe this is like a rejuvenator of life here. In the first 2 games, the Leafs are the team that had the significant run of play and actually both games from an expected goals standpoint. Obviously giving up 1 trillion power play goals in the first game was suboptimal. And their goaltender not being able to make a save, not great either. But, I hate to say it, but I do expect them to win game 5, which of course is why they probably won't.
Leaves in 5. There you go.
All my bets are surrounding the idea of the Leafs in 5, and I cannot believe we're here somehow. You know what I mean? It's shocking.
I like this comment. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm just going to take...
He's going to hug it at night.
Yeah. I'm going to hang on to that for dear life.
Championship team, baby.
All right. And final one, we'll kind of recap here before we get into some of these games here tonight and give out best bets. Any thoughts on the Winnipeg-Vegas series? We're seeing a bunch of guys on Winnipeg going down with injury, and now Vegas has opened this one up to a 3-1 series lead, winning both in Winnipeg there. Is this just a spot where they're going to be Winnipeg is going to be outmatched, Todd, like down the stretch? They're not going to be able to find a way back into this one, even with the possibility of Connor Hellebuyck going nuclear?
Yeah, I think they're kind of toast. Game 1, Vegas played like garbage, obviously, but the last 3 games, their 5-on-5 numbers are really good, and the Jets' key players are dropping like flies. And their defense especially wasn't like that great to begin with, and now they don't have Morrissey, and that hurts their power play as well. And just like so many different elements of their game are kind of ruined now. So like unless Hellebuyck goes absolutely nuts, they're probably done.
And if he wants to, like he could have at some point. You know what I mean? Like we're still waiting for Hellebuyck to not even just like go nuclear, but like play well, right? Like I mean, you know, there's a couple of nice saves in there that are sort of highlight reel type stuff, but. We're looking at what the Golden Knights converting 8 out of 35 high danger chances. He's getting outplayed right now by Laurent Brossoit, and the Jets can't overcome that. And, we all liked the Jets before this series, not because maybe some people liked the Jets. Like I never really liked the Jets. It was really more like, well, we really just don't like the Golden Knights relative to the price. Right. And we thought, okay, the idea of this series kind of being, a coin flip, and it hasn't been that far off from the case where we got 36 to 35 at even strength high danger chances, and expected goal share is pretty close to 50-50, certainly in the low 50s for the Golden Knights. So it's kind of playing out the way that we thought it would, where the Jets would be sort of live to win the series. I have a lot of bets on this series going long. Like I have this being a 7-game series. I have the Jets plus 1.5. I can't trust the Jets even before this series, as far as I can throw them, to actually bet on them to win the series. But, there is an excuse out there. Like, one, obviously, Hellebuck not playing very well. That's, self-inflicted on his part. But Morrissey being out is a really big deal, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's missed 2 games now.
Yeah, that's a problem going forward. And he was out relatively early in that game 3. So, yeah, they're not. I can't imagine them winning 3 games in a row. I can't imagine even them winning 2 games in a row, which is a bummer because I was really hoping this is going to go 7. And when the Jets had a 1-0 lead in game 2 with a 1-0 series lead, and given how much we all dislike the Golden Knights, I was worried that we weren't going to get to 6 or 7 games because the Jets were going to be the team that actually, won in 5 games. And then, of course, the Golden Knights turned it on. And so, if this isn't a situation where the Golden Knights have been outplayed at 5-5, as Todd said, it's actually been quite the opposite. So you give them full credit for the 3 games in a row that they have won here. And it's kind of hard to imagine the Jets turning this around because I just don't think they have that in them.
All right. Well, let's get to the games here tonight, but before we do that, I want to just remind everyone, if you want to track all the picks that we've given out on the show and how we've done throughout the course of the season, you can do so in the BetStamp app. You can find us in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. Pretty good day there yesterday, up 47% ROI, up 2 units on the day with 3 and 1 or 3 for 4 on our picks yesterday.
Rangers. Hate to see that. That's too bad about that one.
Was that Rangers' first period?
Yes,
it really was.
How dare you?
Yes.
How dare you select them into any segment of the game?
Agreed. I wrote up the Devils for the great readers at the Score.
Yeah, and you know who's happy? Those people, because they're awesome.
Mm-hmm. No, they're probably mad at me.
Well. Yeah, sorry, Todd. I mean, I can't control the picks that are made here. I mean, I guess I can.
You really can.
You're literally the only one who can.
Yeah.
Zach. You're controlling start times of the show to tweak the sleep deprivation challenge.
I was doing a mini
golf
stream after that.
Yeah, that doesn't count. We're seeing who had to stay up the latest. Not
a mini golf stream, as if that's ever a thing. That's the most made up thing I've ever heard in my life, Zach. How dare you? A mini golf.
Guys.
Who would ever?
All right. Anyways, if you want to track these picks and see the bets that I haven't manipulated, you can find it in the BetStamp app in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. And just want to remind people that we feel like the easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is by using multiple sports books and always getting the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to do so. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book for games, futures, and player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the app today, and if you are looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/edgework, as well as you can click the link in the description to sign up. Every time you sign up through that page, it does help support the show, so please make sure to do so. But let's look at the games here tonight, give out some best bets, see what we've got going on. Let's start with the Canes Islanders series. The Carolina Hurricanes up 3-1 right now, having won the last game 5-2 against the Islanders in the island there. And we're looking at this price tonight. Carolina minus 154 back at home for game 5. Todd, if you look at this one here, minus 154 plus 140, based on the way that the series has kind of played out, what we've seen from either of these teams, would you be interested in playing a money line here tonight? Would you be backing either of these teams? What do you kind of think of the price to where it's at right now?
I like the Islanders. I think the Hurricanes are getting a bit too much credit in the betting market right now. Quite honestly, I know they're up 3-1 in the series, but I don't think they've played that well, at least at 5-5. The Islanders have more of the chances at 5-5. They have more of the expected goals at 5-5. They have more of the actual goals at 5-5. Basically, Carolina's power play has 5 goals, and the Islanders have 1, and they gave up a shorty. So the Hurricanes are basically just winning special teams right now. Without Teravainen, I think that's going to be a little more difficult. Also, this is an elimination game, so the refs, I think, are going to probably put the whistles away a lot more than they would a normal game. So if the Hurricanes can...
what is going on right now?
Sorry, guys, I'm just on the line with Gary Bettman. I just wanted to know whether the Islanders are going to absolutely get wrenched again tonight by the officials. I just on hold real quick. He's going to let me know whether they're just going to get absolutely.
I thought that was a real phone call for a bit.
I thought so too.
Are you suggesting it's not a real phone call?
No.
Yeah. No, they are going to get wrenched over again, Gare.
God.
Oh, okay. Thanks, buddy. Okay.
No, so
say hi to the family.
Okay.
Sorry, Todd.
The Islanders are playing better at 5-5, and I think the refs are going to put the whistles away a lot more than they normally would. I also don't think the Hurricanes are going to continue scoring on almost 30% of their shots on the power play, considering Sorokin had like a 87 save percentage or something on the PK this year. So at this price, I'm happy. Like Jack Drury's out now too for the Hurricanes. They're just missing so many wingers. I think the Islanders are going to be the better team at 5-5 here. I don't think they're one of those teams that'll get rattled down in a series or whatever. They're a very professional, meat and potatoes, hard hat kind of team, and I think they'll just put in the work and they're going to grind out a nice plus money road win to bring it home here.
Put your hard hats on and lace your boots up and get to work. Grab the lunch pail and off you go.
Yep.
Well, we tracked that one plus 140, by the way.
We love to see it.
Available that we're gonna grab here. Matt, what are your thoughts here? Obviously, you feel like the Islanders will be nosed, but
I think I've submitted my thoughts for this game. I'm with Todd. I mean, Todd's right about all of it, right? Like the Islanders have been the better team. Like 48-36 and even strength high danger chances. It's the element here is that Antti Raanta is doing what the Islanders expected Ilya Sorokin to be doing for them, right? Antti Raanta has been the better goaltender thus far, and that's not what anybody sort of expected when it came to this series. Now, as long as the Islanders are alive, that can turn, right? Sorokin can play that game. We saw, we'll talk about Dallas here, but we saw Jake Ottinger finally start, play a really, really good game, a Jake Ottinger type game. We need Ilya Sorokin to play that type of game. And yeah, we need the Canes to not keep getting power plays on BS goaltender interference calls and, diving into the boards as if guys are just, on purpose throwing their face into the boards. Or maybe call a high stick in overtime when a guy, in front of two officials that are capable of calling it. Because last I heard, the linesman can call a penalty on a high stick. Like, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I mean,
they don't want to impact the game. They don't
want to impact the game. We don't want the officials impacting the game. I love don't impact the game officials guy. Well, like a guy's getting like stabbed in the neck. It's like, don't want to step in here. So yeah, like
you guys sorted out.
Yeah, you guys figured out on the ice with a shiv and a noose. So no, I'm right there with Todd. Like the Islanders have been the better team. They are certainly live to win this game. I'm right there with them. If you've already got a position on the Islanders, listen, you can go over 5.5 games, something along those lines we've talked about in other spaces. Ride that out. But...
Todd, are you calling a penalty?
No, my hand's up. I'm waiting for the teacher to call my name once Matt's done.
I'm just trying to support Todd here in his bet, because if it loses, it's Todd's fault, and if it wins, I'm right there with him.
Todd, what's up?
I have 2 special edition Toddy props for this game. Not shot props, penalty minute props.
Okay, I can't track these, but I can't track these. I'm just gonna clarify for everyone in the chat. I can't. There's no way I can track these.
You can and you will.
Yes, Todd, we'll give these out. I can write them down and tweet them out or something.
Here we go. New York Islanders under 13.5 penalty minutes, minus 115. Under 13.5. They've gone under every single game. It's an elimination game, so obviously they're not going to be gooning it up and trying to fight people and stuff. The refs aren't going to call shit. And honestly, even if they do, that's so many penalties. Like the Isles could get 6 minors and you cash your ticket. So I don't know what kind of odds these are. Other one, Carolina under 11.5 penalty minutes. They've gone under in 3 of the 4 games so far. We know the refs don't like to call penalties on them anyways. And again, same thing. It's an elimination game. I don't think the refs are going to be calling all this little soft garbage. I think they're just going to let them play tonight. The only way I'm concerned about this is if the Islanders somehow are up 4-0 in the third, and then the Hurricanes just try and grit it up and be send a message going into Game 6.
Is that a Hurricanes thing though? I don't feel like
not really. I was gonna say, but they're not that goony of a team or anything. Yeah. So
okay.
Yes, under 11.5 PIMs, minus 133 for Carolina, and under 13.5, minus 115 for the Islanders.
So say the Carolina one again, under 11.5.
Yeah, under 11.5 minus 133.
Okay.
And then the Isles is 13.5 minus 115.
Okay, so Insight makes a good point here. I can track them, but they won't show, or they won't be verified. Yeah, so we can do that. That is
Get
an
them
option
in.
here. Okay, I can do that for you, Todd. I can log those in.
Yes, you can. That's right.
All right, yeah, I'll lock those in. All right. Next game, also here, I did see a comment here earlier. Jordan Livingston, haven't been following along, but that was some awesome in-game bets last night. Yes, we are fired up this morning. That was nice that Alex B. Smith was in on those as well. So I at least had someone else who was like a neutral party, at least rooting for the Leafs based on financial interest in that one. Because then even Moretto was betting on the Leafs. You know that he bet on the
so
Leafs
why was he down bad if he...
Because he doesn't. He's emotionally hedging so that if they win, he at least wins money. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, but who cares? Like, it's not even his team. If the Rangers weren't playing the Devils and I bet on the Rangers and they won and I cashed a huge ticket, I couldn't give a shit if they're the Rangers. Give me the money.
No, that's not how he's operating there. That's how he's.
He's deep. He's deep into his convictions. Is wild. He's deep into his convictions emotionally.
Todd,
don't worry, that goes away over time.
Maybe. Question in the chat from Daniel H. Where do you find Pims betting? Never seen it. Do you know if there's more than one book? I know that there's one that's available in Canada. I've been betting them some occasionally as well, but
there is one book that I'll let you say the name of it. It has the same colors as the Edgeworks show. That's
in Canada. Yeah.
I don't know about any other ones.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna ask. Yeah, I don't know. I think we can say it. Botano is the one that has it.
You can say it.
You can say it. You can say it. I can't.
Oh
say
yeah. Gotcha.
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Botano. But yeah, look around, see if there's any others. I'll look and see if I can find, and then send some stuff out. But yeah, that's where we can find that. Okay, next game, Minnesota Wild. On the road, taking on the Dallas Stars. Minnesota have found a way to tie this one up 2-2, or keep this one 2-2 here now as we look at the Dallas Stars, evening that up 3-2 in the last game. Minnesota had taken a lead, and talk about hose jobs. I've seen a lot of people from Minnesota online complaining about the officiating, saying that one was handed back to the Dallas Stars in the last game. Now we look at this one, Dallas at home, minus 139. I think they do have a bit of the goaltending edge here in Jake Ottinger. But, Matt, you look at the combination of refs on the side of the Stars and Jake Ottinger, and is this price enough here? Like, this should be like minus 300 with the fact that the Wilds have to beat two teams on the ice.
They're looking out first. Sorry, go on.
What's the state of hockey's beef with the officiating? That Marcus Foligno's running around like a craven lunatic and getting penalties for it? Like... So what's the complaint exactly?
That was the same take that Alex B had yesterday morning as well.
Oh, okay. Because I'm sorry, that's what people with brains and two eyes would are the type of take that they would have. So yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, I get it. You lose the game and you have to blame the officials. I understand that. But like when you look around at some of these other games, which again, I guess they don't get the other games in Minnesota, but like the Islanders are getting speed bagged. We're getting all kinds of wacky goal calls on whistles, in various series. We had basically essentially the exact same play happened in Tampa Bay that we did in Florida the very next day, and somehow one was a goal and one wasn't, right? So like, okay, so I'm sorry, Marcus Foligno, who's helicopter, he's Bart Simpson swinging his arms around, and if Lisa Simpson walks in the way, then like it's Lisa's fault. Like, I don't think that's how this works, Marcus. Okay, as relative to the series, Jake Ottinger is theoretically the better goaltender, but like not this series because Philip Gustafsson is awesome. And we all liked the Stars before the series, and we had various reasons for that. One of my reasons was if the Wild are going to play Marc-Andre Fleury as they sort of promised that they were going to, or said that they were going to, then the Wild are getting a free game. Not 100% necessarily, but something probably closer to 80, 75%, something not reflected in the odds. Sure enough, he plays the second game. I don't know if the Stars are going to win that game regardless. We'll obviously never know till we figure out how to do this whole alternative universe thing. Who knows? Problem is, unless Ottinger keeps this play up, the Wild have played pretty much equally to Dallas. Now, in some cases, that's the first couple of periods of game 1 after the game got out of hand in game 2. So it's a bit cosmetic here. And yeah, obviously having home ice advantage in game 3 and 4, the Wild are going to play a little bit better in those instances. But this series overall has been largely a coin flip. I got like basically 50-50 when it comes to even strength play, whether it's expected goals or high danger chances. So as somebody who has, a pretty significant position on the Stars, but has already gotten out, gotten what I wanted to from that with the Marc-Andre Fleury start. Obviously, Marc-Andre Fleury is not coming anywhere near this series the rest of the way. I'm a little bit concerned. Now I'm sitting on this position, so I'm going to ride that out. But at minus 150 tonight, I don't really want anything to do with that. See, we're already down to minus 140. Last I looked, it was minus 150. And so people are already betting on the Wild here. And so this is where I'm just kind of clinging to my Stars position, hoping Jake Ottinger plays the way that he did in game 4, because Philip Gustafsson has played that way in all of the games that he's been able to play in this series. So
right.
Yeah, this is speaking of a Simpsons reference, this is the Homer Simpson back into the hedge here, and keep my fingers crossed for the Stars, because if we can get the Stars home and the Leafs home, we'll be happy with the first round no matter what happens in the other 6 series.
Todd, is there anything for you here tonight in this game?
If Joe Pavelski plays, I would probably consider the Stars at this price, but otherwise I'm just going to pray to my Miro Heiskanen shrine and hope that the Stars win, because I have a lot of Stars series prices. I'm on that big time, so hopefully.
Yeah. Like mine.
Okay. All right. Final game that we'll look at here tonight. Matt, I'm gonna start with you. I'm just gonna not even give this one too much of a lead in. 2-2, heading back to Edmonton, plus 192 for the LA Kings.
Oh, jeez.
Talk to me, Matt. What's going on in this game for you?
I'm the guy. Well, the text messages are flying. The "we are all Oilers" so money has just got a flag going. I'm the one sitting back there going like, yeah, I like the Kings. Yeah, I like the Kings. And it looked great at 3-0. It looked great as Arvidsson was steaming in for, a potential 5-3 goal. And then it all went badly. And so, listen, we're hoping for a game 7. Maybe
nice.
we're hoping for Todd to get his life figured out over there. So that I can get my thought process back to normal. I don't know how you look at both these teams and you go, yeah, like any team.
Hi, yes, Gary.
Gary's online. What's Gary got? What's Gary got for us? I think, I don't know. Honestly, we haven't talked about, the three of us haven't talked about the high stick. I'm on the Kings. I thought the guy touched the puck with the stick. I don't know what people are looking at when they don't really know if, this, that, or whatever. That seemed pretty obvious to me. Not to just totally derail the whole thing, but you guys brought up Gary Bettman. I don't know what's going on. That felt like the NHL offices just kind of wanted to go to bed. It feels like they don't have a sleep deprivation challenge where they're taking a sick pride in whenever they have to be up early the next day.
Stay up.
Listen, again, I'm already in on the Kings. We got some series prices at way better than plus 200. We've got the plus 1.5 games at better than even money. Just riding that out. A lot of this stuff at this point is riding out series positions that I've been building, obviously before the series started and in series. There isn't really much reason to add on money line prices, whether it's minus 150 on the Stars. Todd, I'm going to keep talking as long as you're moving your hands. If you don't think I'm capable of filibustering here for the next 3 hours, you're sadly mistaken.
3 hours? Oh my God. I have to go.
I'm just going to leave the studio.
No, play it if you have no position on the Kings. Otherwise, if you have a position on the Kings, let's just keep our fingers crossed and, try not to see that overtime goal in our nightmares from Sunday night.
Todd, do you have anything to say?
Yes. Todd, you got anything to say about it?
I hate the LA Kings with a passion because in game three, those pricks. I had a 41-1 same game parlay. I needed one more Stuart Skinner save. And I didn't even watch the start of OT. I went and shaved my face at 1:10 in the morning because I didn't want to watch, because I didn't want to see.
Purely iconic behavior, Todd.
I needed 4 Skinner saves, and I didn't want to watch because I was worried he wasn't going to get them. So I shaved first. The game
So
was still
how's that
going.
the Kings' fault, man?
No, but the game was still going. So I was
maybe
like,
your boy
yes.
Stu Skinner could mix in a save once in a while.
I was like, maybe he got there. And I walked into the room. He was one short. And I was like, okay, just need one save here. Immediately, the Kings score.
That is pretty rough. I'll be honest with you. That is a tough scene.
What?
I was killing time because I didn't want to watch because I didn't want to stress watch.
And face shaving is the thing at 1:15.
Yes, I had to shave. I was like, I'm doing it now. Killing time. Get out of the way.
I mean, I respect the efficiency, I guess.
Yeah, you got to make the most of your time, folks.
I guess. Thoughts on the high stick? I didn't see it in real time. I watched the highlight back where it's like the super zoomed in slow-mo, and the first like few times I was like, I don't really see like puck change direction too much to be like distinguishably high stick. But then I read a comment and somebody said, look at the toe of his stick. It moves the other way, and then that changed it for me, and I was like, yeah, this was a high stick. When the puck goes up, I don't think that the puck changed too much direction, or like, I don't even want to get into like physics too much here, but like the flipping motion of it coming back down, I don't think it changed drastically, like enough for the NHL to say, yeah, okay, that's a high stick of the puck moving. But if you do watch his stick goes like that when the puck comes. And
I
then
thought it literally
stopped
the puck from going in the direction that it was going, and while it didn't change noticeably the access or the centrifugal force or the Newton's law or the Bernoulli's principle, I don't know. I thought it was pretty obvious. Again, I was on the Kings, so I was stoked that they were like goal. I was like, okay, goal, B, I get to go to bed, and that was enough for me. But
yes,
I would have taken.
We were on the Kings on that day as well here on the Edgework show. So yes,
welcome aboard.
Yes.
Even if
we were all Kings that day. Other than So Money, who was cursing us in the chat, saying, "What the hell?" Because it was Moretto on Friday. He's like, "What are you, Moretto? Like, what the hell are you doing?"
He's going rogue.
If So Money's on the chat, is he laying these prices with the Oilers on a game-to-game basis, or is this an all a futures position?
I don't think he's doing
So Money, type us
these
in.
at game to game. Yeah, but if you are there, let us know. So Money.
Are you laying minus 210 or whatever it is tonight on the Oilers?
I hope not.
Because I know that
Which is a
game one
sicko move, even more than Todd shaving in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's crazy, Todd. What the because I know that game one he was at minus 220 or something like that, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not playing it at this price." But. Okay. All right, so no best bet in that one in terms of game money line, nothing there. All right, I do have a question for you before we get to Toddy props. I haven't seen any announcement on what's gonna happen tonight, so if there is, then feel free to tell me to wake up and get on this. But
do you want me to call Gary?
Stuart Skinner, please do, because I need to.
Gary
maybe if you have Jay Woodcroft's number, you could help us out here, but. Jack Campbell, Stuart Skinner, who do you start, and what is the justification for who goes in net tonight? And chat, let us know in net who you start.
Skinner, because Campbell sucks, and I don't care how last game went. He sucks.
I'll tell you what. Okay, a couple of things. One, Todd mentioned, going back to the Kraken and the Avalanche, right? Todd mentioned that if Cale Makar gets suspended, you'd bet on the Kraken. But like, if we're already kind of on the fence about that game, as far as from a value standpoint, like I might bet the Kraken, and then even if he doesn't get suspended, it's like I still think that's an okay bet. And if he does get suspended, it's an awesome bet.
Yeah,
the same thing with the Kings. Like if I'm betting on the Kings at this price, wake up, Zach. Nothing important happened last night. If I'm betting the Kings now and they tell me that Jack Campbell is going to start this game, I'm delighted to have close to plus 200.
And also,
because I don't think Skinner got pulled because Skinner stunk or he stinks. And, they talked about how, there was a really interesting conversation in the first intermission, but, I think they just did that to kind of wake the team up, that whole move, right? And so I don't think you can blame Skinner for that game. And so I think they go back to Skinner because, Jack Campbell made that save on Arvidsson, but, there was a lot of sketchy saves before that. There was a lot of shaky stuff. So I would love it as a Kings backer that if Jack Campbell played in this game.
Yeah, my thought was too as well. You go back to Skinner here because at this point he's proven to be your number one guy. Campbell is proven to not be trustworthy, and then the other thing of this is the mental fragility of Campbell here. in this situation of like we've seen what happened with him when he was with Toronto. We've seen what happened with him throughout this regular season with Edmonton. And you don't really know how Skinner's going to react in a spot where maybe he has to be the guy who's now thrown into a playoff game as the backup guy. So if you start Campbell and he gets absolutely rocked in the first period, he's probably done for the playoffs. Like his mental's like, that's it. He's gone. And now you're strictly on Skinner and you don't know how this kid's going to react getting thrown into a game in that situation. Not necessarily like he gets in there and gets blown out or anything, but what if he comes in and he's not ready to go and be the guy to kind of backstop things in a playoff game and then he has a tough go of it for the last 2 periods and now you've just ruin both of your goalies in span of one game. I think you go Skinner. If you have to go back to Campbell, then you have him sitting there to come out and take over for the rest of the game. But he's not the guy that you lead with.
Do we think that if Campbell gets announced as in, that this money line changes significantly?
Yes. Big time.
Yeah.
Like way down, like plus 140, plus like that kind of craziness. Maybe lower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'd be firing on like Fiala point, Velarde point, Kempe point, freaking me get a point.
Maybe Devin Taves. Devin Taves might get a point.
Everybody's getting a point if they get 60 minutes against Jack Campbell.
Yeah. It's point night if that happens, potentially.
Braden Point would probably get a point.
He's taking warm-ups, I hear.
There's a point in warm-ups.
Yeah.
All right, to close this one out, Toddy props. What do you got for us aside from the penalty minutes?
I have 5 shot props,
which
is my highest of the playoffs so far, even though we have 3 games. So I have Miro Heiskanen over 2.5 shots. I got minus 108. I'm not sure what the best available price is right now. Playoffs included, he's hitting 27 of 41 home games, which is a 66% hit rate. He averages 1.3 more attempts at home than on the road. He hit in game 1 and game 2 at home against Minnesota. Last night, I believe it was, or last game, sorry. There was a few times Heiskanen was at 2 shots, and then they just kept taking one away, and then he'd get another shot to get to 2, and then they'd take one away. And like Minnesota's scorekeeping is kind of ridiculous for shot props. Like they are very not generous. So I think Heiskanen back at home in Dallas. Yeah, stingy.
The stingy
group. They're extremely stingy.
Well, they've never seen a game outside of Minnesota, so I can understand why.
You could have somebody at like 5 shots on over 2.5, and you can't be comfortable to hit because they're just going to keep pulling them away. So, anyways, Heiskanen at home, he's much better at home, and their tracking system is actually functional. So I like him there. Adrian Kempe over 3.5 shots against the Oilers. He's hitting 3 or 4 thus far. He has 39 attempts through 4 games, so almost 10 a game. He's tied with McKinnon for the playoff lead in that regard. Last game was the only one he didn't hit. He had 7 shot attempts. He hit the net 3 times, so if he didn't miss the net 4 times, he would have hit. He also only had 2 minutes of power play time that game, whereas the first 3 games he had 4+ in all of them. So if you think that the Oilers are going to get more than 1 or 2 penalties this game, he should get a boost in that way as well. Evan Bouchard over 2.5 shots. I played at minus 105. He has at least 7 shot attempts in every game this series, so he can literally miss the net half or more than half and still hit. He's quarterback in the top power play. They're feeding him a bunch of one-timers, a bunch of slappers. He's teeing off. So I like Evan Bouchard. Brock Nelson over 2.5. I got plus 120. He, I believe, has at least 6 attempts in every game this series. He's a big net front guy, so his shots are coming from close. So he has a higher chance of actually hitting the net on his attempts than like your average player. Like Kempe, for example, let's say he's posted up on the wall, ripping them from range, whereas Nelson's taking shots from like 5 feet away. It's an elimination game from the Islanders. So I think he'll be getting a lot of run. He's one of their main guys who can score, which has obviously been an issue for them. And then I have Brent Burns over 3.5. He is hitting 3 or 4 of the series. He had at least 8 attempts in both home games. If you go to props.cash and filter his season data, when he has at least 8 attempts, he has hit in 81% of his games, 21 of 26 when he has at least 8 attempts. If he has at least 7 attempts, he's at 65%, and he's getting to that number consistently in the series. Obviously, Carolina's missing 400 forwards, so they're going to keep relying on Burns to shoot the puck and generate offense. So I like that as well at plus money.
All right, that is your 5 shots on goal props for tonight.
5.
5.
And 2 penalty minute props.
I was going to say, not including the penalty minute props.
Yeah, I know.
I'm firing out 8 bets on a 3-game slate.
And,
You're not going to get this
and the
anywhere
Wednesday, the pre if Makar gets injured, or injured, used to getting him getting injured. If Makar gets suspended, that's electric.
An injury counts too. If he randomly just gets injured in the hotel or something, you never know.
Sure.
Todd, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. There was one game on a Friday, and me and Rob came on to do the show. And Rob's like, "Well, I think it was 1 or 2 games." And Rob's like, "Well, with like a minimal games tonight, we have minimal bets." And someone comes in the chat and said Todd would have 10 shots on goal props tonight.
Hey,
I love that.
All right. Well, to recap all the picks that we have here, we'll look at all the verified ones, and then I'll remind people of the ones that. Did you guys know this? Careful with this. They don't count OT on a certain book. Shots on goal on FanDuel.
yes, I didn't know that. It says 60-minute line, like when you go to pick it. Use somewhere else.
Be careful. Be careful when going to do this. But to recap all the picks, I'll give all the ones that are verified and tracked down here right now, and then the other ones, you can't have them verified. But I will remind people of the penalty minute props that Todd has here tonight. So looking at these insight handing out baseball bets here.
Okay.
Sorry. I gotta wrap this up. This is getting
Dinger Tuesday is taking a turn for the worst.
Yeah,
It really has.
Right. Picks for tonight. Let's start with these.
Do we have any NFL draft props?
All right. Start with Brent Burns over 3.5 shots on goal plus 105, and these are all full unit, by the way, to everyone out there. So every single one of these bets full unit. Brent Burns over 3.5 shots on goal plus 105. We also have Brock Nelson over 2.5 shots on goal plus 120. I'm just not looking at you guys. Brock Nelson over 2.5 shots on goal plus 120. And final bet in the Islanders Hurricanes game, we have the Islanders money line plus 140. So the
what
three
price?
bets. Islanders money line plus 140.
Thank
Islanders
you.
money line plus 140.
B
we also have
15. B.
Brock Nelson
15.
Bingo.
over 2.5 shots on goal plus 120, and Brent Burns over 3.5 shots on goal.
That's 3 times now. Jeez, you're reading them 3 times.
One for every shot.
There you go.
Yes, exactly. Here you go. Here's some bets for you. So Daniel H says he's got NASCAR for us. Jordan Mosul saying Max Verstappen fastest lap. Just fire all the bets that you have, that even non-NHL related, in the chat there. All right, Dallas Minnesota game. We only have one bet here, and it's the Miro Heiskanen over 2.5 shots on goal minus 110. So Dallas Minnesota, the only one. Kyle Busch out. Dallas Minnesota, the only bet we have here. Miro Heiskanen over 2.5 shots on goal minus 110. Then in the LA Kings Edmonton Oilers game, 2 bets, 2 shots on goal bets. Evan Bouchard over 2.5 minus 108, and Adrian Kempe over 3.5 shots on goal minus 114. So Evan Bouchard over 2.5 shots on goal minus 108, boys, and Adrian Kempe over 3.5 shots on goal minus 114. And then the non-verified picks, if you have access to them, you can find them on your books. Islanders under 13.5 penalty minutes.
What a ridiculous number.
Minus 115.
They can take 6 minors and they're still it.
And Carolina under 11.5 penalty minutes, minus 133. Those are your non-verified penalty minute bets for tonight.
They're verified to me.
Well, I did pull them up.
That's what the money's for.
I saw them.
Yeah.
The money is the verification, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Here you go, Todd. Here's a bet for you. Bijan Robinson, T5 plus 9,500. There you go. Ridiculous show here today. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. We are all Devils. We are all Leaves. And tonight on this show, we are all Islanders. So, go Islanders. Go Leaves.
Go
Kings?
Devils.
Go
Can we all be
Devils.
kings?
We can
Go,
all be kings.
go Dallas Stars series price.
Yeah,
Go
we're
Max
definitely-
Verstappen, fastest lap.
We're definitely all stars. I'm here to
Bijan
tell you
Robinson, top 5.
Go over
We're all
6.5
Bijan.
Red Bulls consumed.
Kyle Busch outright. Oh, yeah. Todd also.
Oh, baby. Let's go. Nice. Is that the watermelon one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are good. Those are good, especially in the summer. Start mixing them with some drinks. They go down nice. I'll tell you.
There you go. So I got into the spirit. Matt, we'll have to get you some of those for next week's show after we have yet another one of the latest shows of all the shows of the
Listen,
week.
if it results in me shaving my face in the middle of the night, I don't want anything to do with it. All right, just hard pass on whatever beverages you guys got going on over there. I'm fine. I'm fine accidentally missing the key point of the Leafs' entire franchise because Jimmy Butler went on.
No. That was very, very important. That was exercising the demons, boys. That's what that was. This is the final test. 3-1, get it done. Because you had the 4-1 collapse the other way. Okay, you've done your own now. You had a 3-1 series lead over the Habs. You collapsed that one. You've got it here again against a much better team. Can you hold on? Can you get through this one? Just give me Leafs in 5. Get it done. Get out of here. So that's all I'm asking for. But thank you to everyone who tuned in here today. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe here on the channel if you haven't already. Let us know your thoughts on the picks that we have today as well. You can tweet at us when these bets win and when Todd's penalty minute bets cash. 13.5 on the Islanders, minus 115.
The regular season line's 7.5. I don't know why they're expecting them to double their PIMs in an elimination game, but
I couldn't tell you. But
Gary didn't say anything about it.
Yeah. Well,
there's just gonna be a line brawl off the opening face-off.
Yeah.
3 fights, both teams dead right off
done. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for taking time to do this today. I know back-to-back weeks of having to stay up late and get up for the show, so appreciate you guys. Warriors battling through this, but to you guys, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you back here next week, and to everyone in the chats, appreciate you taking the time. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. We'll see you all back here tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Good luck on your bets tonight.